Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Before I get into this video, I'd like to ask you all to please leave a like or comment on my video and consider subscribing to my channel. Now, I know that I haven't been in high-sec recently, so for all of you in the PvE Defense Force Alliance, you all are welcome to come and join me out in my ratting in high-sec. Yes, I am extending this invite to the PvE Defense Force Alliance. Search up my gamer tag elementary72 and simply hit me up with a message and I will tell you where to join me in high-sec. I'm only going to be playing with you guys in high-sec, so that is the only catch to this whole situation. Alright, now let me get into what I am doing up here. Now, recently with the recent updates, there has been a massive meta change, and these are the things that have literally affected the meta. Ratting in Null-sec has become less profitable. Previously in Null-sec, players could make anywhere between 4 to 10 billion, 4 billion, 1 to 4 billion ISK per dead space. With the recent reduction in ISK values, their ability to make ISK has dropped to 100,000 ISK to about 2 billion. Now I'm estimating that 2 billion is still possible because I haven't seen anybody who has gotten 2 bill, but it's just my estimation. It could be less than 2 bill, it could be more than 2 bill, but I know that 4 billion is now impossible because of the reduction in drop rate. And it's also a reduction in the percentage spawn of dead spaces. So a reduction in the spawn of dead spaces, a reduction in the rewards from dead spaces, that is in terms of drops, and a reduction in bounty. So those three put together have made it not as fruitful as it once was. Now, as you can see, I just completed this mission. I'm just going to gather up my rewards. Now my balance is a little bit lower than normal because of corp tax. Now everybody gets a corp tax. You can't really count that out from your earning from a mission. And the reason why you can't count it out is it's actually something that you've earned. It's just going directly to your corp and helping you out in the longer run. So let's work out everything in high sec or in the low sector security regions. So first of all, how much ISK can you make in these regions doing these simple missions? Well, about 3.5 billion of one of these small encounters. So the small encounters are the smallest value activity. They were 3.5 billion in straight ISK. Now let's talk about the next thing. The loot. Now the loot is MK7. So it is quite fruitful to actually collect it and scrap it. And when you are scrapping MK7 gear, remember that it does have quite a good reward in terms of ISK. So there you go, you're making more ISK than that, and you can actually make about 1 million to 2 million on a full haul. But you can't make a full haul about between 10 to 20% per haul when it comes to what you're pulling out. So yes, it's not that much. It's only about another million to your overall total, so about 4.5 million. So that's what you're getting of one of these small encounters. On average, it takes me about 15 minutes to finish it. Sometimes I'm a little bit slow, it takes me 20 minutes. So let's work out everything in terms of comparing the high sec minimum to the null sec minimum. The null sec minimum is a T6 and there is a T6 anomaly. Now the reason why I'm not giving it something like a mission is you don't get missions in null-sec. There is nothing to do with storyline in null-sec. Null-sec is its own space altogether. So let's go with the next part to this. What are the benefits of the null-sec activity? Well, it's level 6, it's easy. The lowest level of those activities is a T6. And it's a T6 small, which is on average about 2 million ISK to a completion. They take 7 to 15 minutes to complete, depending on the territory that you're fighting in. Now I am fighting Garista type or Kaldari type missions, so I'm only facing off against troops that I am very efficient against. However, I can take on a mass space, and a mass space is also something a little bit more fruitful, but I'm not going to do that there. I'm actually going to rate it at its lowest. So with everything going with the lowest, let's talk about the rest of the rewards. So from the rest of the rewards in Null-sec is picking up the material. T6 drops MK5. MK5 isn't really that expensive in terms of gaining materials. You gain about, let's see, what would it be? About 500,000 worth of material of their activity. So 2.5 million per small, so a total of 5 million between two in about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the difficulty that it takes you to complete it. So there we go, a nice 5 million over there, and a nice 4.5 in high sec. Are there any other differences between the two activities? Well, yes, there are. I am not counting out the tax that you are going to pay on both sides. So don't worry about that. That's just being omitted because it's still something that you're earning. Now, when it comes to the next part of this whole encounter mission story, you need to understand that, okay, I have had a bad haul from this particular missions loot. I've only had a few small items. So let's talk about the next thing. The next thing to note is the spawning of higher level activities. Now, since I am in high sec, there is a very high level activity that I could always do called missions. Yes, so I can do missions anytime I want to, and there are several different types of missions that are not really going to be any difficulty for me to complete. As you can see, I'm just taking on one of the simplest missions. You can do this without even a battleship. So let's just think about this here carefully. This is for T8 players, by the way, not for those in the lower regions of this level. So with 300,000 ISK being made of literally doing nothing besides jumping between systems, what is the reward to it? Well, with 300, if I can do 10 of those in an hour, since the speed is faster, I can make 3 million. With 3 million, obviously the building up, like I used to say about, restarting in the game, it's now way faster. You could actually advance right up to the higher level activities without that much of a risk. So there you go, something to really think about. And instead of worrying about reds, like right now you can see I'm next to a red player, I don't have to worry about him. He can't attack me. He can't destroy my ship. He can't do anything to me provided I'm moving between stations and gates. That's all the way down to low sec. So I'm absolutely safe in the territories I'm running between. You can't hit me at a gate, you can only hit me in the free range territory. You can't deploy interceptor bubbles. You can't use warp disruptors on the gate. You can't stop me in any way from traveling from one point to the next. If you open fire on me, the gate guns will open fire on you, and Concord security will also attack you. So yes, those are the several major key points about the high sec that people like so much. So there's a safety factor in high sec. It is much higher. Is it worth 500,000 ISK? Well, yes, it is. And I'm going to go further on that whole point. Now, with that 500,000, it's security beyond what you can have in Null-sec. So yes, there you go. One more big reason to stay in high sec and play the game. Now, the activities that have opened go all the way to T9. So I've only showed you a T8 mission. Then there's still a T9 mission, and you can do two different types of T9 missions. The first of the T9 missions is worth 8.5 million ISK. Now, yes, that is quite a big figure. And if you are going to do it solo, I estimate it's going to take you about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how good you are with the game. So 8.5 million every single time you do one of those missions. Well, it is quite a big reward. It's going to help you out quite a bit, and you can take it on if you know the right method to complete them. So 8.5 mil, and it's T9 this time. Now, since it's T9, the loot is worth way more. There you go. You are now making millions per wave. Every time you pick up a piece of gear, it is worth almost 1 million in resources. Fantastic. So if you go through these activities at the T9 level where you're making 8.5 million and you have a higher increase rate in your bounties, you are going to be making on average somewhere near, let's see, 15 million an hour. 15 million ISK an hour, well, that is exactly what you're making off the smalls. But I'm not actually counting everything in 100%. you're making 15 million and you're unlocking higher level activities. Now this is something which you don't get in Null-sec. You can't go and keep hitting anomalies non-stop, and once you've reached 5 anomalies you unlock a guaranteed 10 million quick reward. No, that doesn't happen. You just unlock a quick easy mission and that is it for you. Okay, I should get my reward now. There you go. I just made 270,000 ISK without doing anything. No combat, no difficulty, no mining. It took zero effort from me. A quick AFK activity for me to do. What is this? Okay, so I've already completed it. Already completed. I'm looking if there's any unticked. So now I am looking for unticked activities. So as you know, the whole refresh, you have 30 minutes, do the next activity. Okay, I'll do the gravitational anomaly. And then I'll do these 3, 4, 5. There's a peroxide collection. I can do that so simple. Scored right, I can do that simply. Okay, so all the activities are still available like they used to be. I'm just doing these for the simple quick rewards while I'm doing this video. Okay, so with these you saw the first round of benefits, quick easy rewards, and if you're doing something this simple with the new benefits of jumping speed, you can just jump into a scout ship, complete the scouts, go around, jump into your mammoth or your Tyra and do some delivery missions, make another couple million on the side, and there you go. You've made quite a bit of reward on the side while you don't have to worry about getting camped or attacked in any way, and you're doing it all within safe zones. So there's a good AFK activity. Now remember, AFK activities really play a big role in the game. Now when you're out in Null-sec, I know that there's a lot of other benefits. These things have no equal in in Null-sec. Now when you go up jumping the activity, the next level activity, as I said, is worth 8 million. The next level in those anomalies is a T6 medium, which is about 4 million ISK on reward. It takes between 15 to 20 minutes to clear. Right, so there we go on the reward. And this is where the whole thing starts to rip apart in entirely different senses. You have, as I said, about 4 to 5 million in total reward with bounties and your loot added together from that activity per one of those medium activities. So 4.5 million, and let's add to that there the rest of the cost that you're going to be running into. Now I can actually auto complete these easy missions. I was a little bit skeptical of doing it yesterday, so let me go to the next one. It's quick jump. As you can see, I'm really close to getting my missions completed and opened up. As soon as they open up, I'm going to do a bad hair day. And as you can see, I'm one away, so it's quite simple for me to get there. Now, let's talk about doing these missions just to kill time and doing them AFK. Well, there are ways to do them AFK. This isn't the best ship for AFK mission completions. I'd say that would be the Oracle. With the Oracle's range and firepower and everything put into it, if you leave it to orbit at around 70 km with the right fit, it can easily snipe out these activities, and you just have to keep doing the blue missions for the missile launches, and you should be easily through all of your activities with a nice solid reward at the end of the day. I know that people are going to complain about what I just said, but yes, it is true. You are going to be able to make a nice solid reward. And I am going to follow this up with a total mission encounter video, which will actually be taking on directly the dead space for ISK reward value levels. So let's talk about the next part of this entire activity when it comes to moving on with the rest of the jumping, fighting, all of the other small activities. So once you go up to medium, the reward that you're getting is, as I said, about 5 million per medium, and you can do two in the same time as 8.5 million level activity in high sec. However, the 8.5 million activity is worth 15, and with two 5 mils, that is a straight up 10 versus 15. You now have a benefit of 5 mil to high sec, with the benefit of security being added to high sec. So there's an ISK value reward, there's a value reward to time, there's a value reward to being able to do it AFK. So a ton of rewards for one little sacrifice. So yeah, there we go. A nice solid way to build up everything that you need. Now let's move on to the next set of issues that will follow it, and that is the highest level of these encounters, which is a 30 million encounter. Now I didn't have any 8.5 or 30 million encounters. It's just my bad luck for the time being. Yesterday I had two of them from the start. So the 30 mil encounter is equal to the large encounter. And the reason why I'm doing it on base is because this is your base T8 level activity. Now obviously you could compare it to a T8 level in small, medium, and large encounter, in which case the reward levels are slightly variant. You're making 1 million more in, no wait, sorry, the time is way accelerated and your rewards are identical to these activities. So yeah, that's something that I didn't put into the account there. Sorry about that, my mistake. Time is exactly the same, so it's equal with equal reward on the first level. The second level, the reward is far greater in the medium, and the large activity is absolutely dangerous in low sector. It can take you up to an hour to complete a large solo. It can take you even longer if you don't have the right ship and the right fittings. So yeah, there we go, another lot of benefits. So yeah, there you go. There was the benefits, and let's talk about the reward value. From the 30 million activity, it's 30 million ISK straight from the mission. It's another 1 to 2 million in rewards. So there you go, 2 million in rewards from bounties. That's 32 million. On top of that, there's still sorry, on top of that, there are still rewards that can be taken out of that activity that I haven't talked about, and that is loot. Regular loot within the activity will be worth about 2 to 3 million ISK, because you are doing T9 battleships and T9 other ships in that encounter. That's really pulling up how much of ISK you can earn. So there we go. We are almost over the mark for a small activity reward. So there you go. You're already at 34 million. And here comes the kicker. You get faction drops within those activities. Now the faction gear are worth quite a bit. They're even worth more than the T9s. And with them being worth about 2.5 million, if you're scrapping them with the right skills, there you go. That's quite a bit more. And you're getting an average of about 3 of them from one of those activities. So 3 times 2.5, that's 7.5 million being added to your entire activity. There you go, a nice big reward from this easy activity. I don't know if it's just me that it appeals to, but that's quite the reward in terms of ISK. Okay, now I'm doing this here totally AFK, by the way. I'm not paying attention to my screen. So when it comes to that point of the game, you are now making just over 40 million per one big activity. Now, yes, that is mission level rewards, and you are taking on T9. So let's talk about exactly what comes out of it in terms of comparing it to high sec and not high sec, comparing it to null sec. Now that would be equal to taking on a large. A large is on average a reward of about 10 million ISK. You can take on about 1 an hour if you are doing it solo. If you are doing it in a team, obviously it gets faster. If you're doing it with long range ships, it is slightly faster. But let's say that you're going in standard vessels, so about an hour. The duration for the large activity in Caldari space is going to take you about 1 hour 30 minutes, so 1.5 of this activity. So it's worth 15 million. Let's say all the rewards added in from a large activity, another 5 mil, so 20 mil versus 40 mil. that is the difference between T9 versus T9 in this case. And that is no small comparison. That is just the baseline comparison for these two activities. With that type of reward difference, you could literally buy any ship that you wanted and keep running through the game, with 40 mil being a 1.5 hour goal. Doing 2 of those missions, you're making 80 mil. And if you are going to be on for longer periods, like 6 hours, that's 120 mil worth of rewards overall throughout all of your activities. 120 mil in high sec, while in low sec, that is just going to be 60 mil. Yeah, it's exactly half. So 60 mil versus 120 mil, there's a big difference, and that's just the entry level activities. Now guys, close enough, so let me start with that. Then let me go Blackbird. All right. So I did explain the basic reason for me comparing them the way that I did. And I'm going to go a little bit further in the next video where I compare the higher level activities to their respective components within Null-sec to high sec. And as you can see, there is a reward value for staying in high sec at the moment. With that 120 million, if you were doing it in teams, that time doesn't just decrease by half, it decreases by tons of time. Remember, there's a lot to be considered when you're doing it solo, and it does make a big difference to the overall gameplay. So thank you all for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Sorry if I wasn't as coherent as I should have been, but I will try and get it better on the next video. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day.